Hi, this is Dr. Jenny Mitchell, and this is the second video in the series that goes with the capital budgeting chapter in the book Sports Budgeting, Communication, and Data Analytics. So today we're talking about payback. So payback, there's two different types of payback. There's one that's just a regular payback method that does not include the time value of money. And the second payback method does contain the time value of money. Now, just to remind you, this is the Palm University scenario where they want to add a practice gym to the existing athletic facility. The estimated cost of construction is $500,000. The discount is 12%. And if you'll notice, there's another point that we need to look at here is that the normal payback threshold is half of the investment period. So if we get a return of 15 years, then we expect to get paid back in 7.5 years. That's normally something that's set by the organization. So that was like a prerequisite. So if we come down here to the payback method and we don't use a discounted the time value money, essentially what we're doing is we're starting with the 500,000 you see here, and as we get, this is the outflow, and as we start with year one with an inflow, you notice that what it's doing is it's basically reducing that 500,000 outlay. So then 77,000 would be reduced, the 430 here, and so on. And what happens is when you get over here to year 5, you'll see in year 5 we still have a negative number. In year 6 we do not. So that means between years 5 and 6 that we have paid this back. And so one way to, I know it's at least 5 years, and then one way to find out how many days on top of that, and sometimes people do it like it'll be 5.5 years, or 5 3/4 years, or 5 and 9, that sort of thing. I do it by days, so you don't have to be quite this specific, but essentially what I'm doing here is taking the cash flow and dividing it by 365. So that tells me how many dollars I earned back in this cash flow in a day. And so then what I'm doing is finding out then basically how many days to eat up this amount here. So we have 327 days. So essentially what we have here is 5 years and 327 days. Okay, now let's look at the discounted payback method. Now in the discounted payback method, you must first convert the regular cash flow to the present value, just like what we did earlier when we were looking at profitability index. So essentially what we're doing here is we're saying that this cash flow in year 1 is worth 62,500 if you were to bring it back to the present value. The 77 is worth 61,134. And essentially what I do is I use a formula that it's present value, and then 12% is the discount rate. The number of periods in this case, the one that I'm on is 2 periods there, and then we don't have a payment, but then we have a value at the end. So the value was 77,000, and I'll show you this here in just a second. But as you can see, we're starting out with our 500,000, and then we're subtracting the amount of present value from each from that amount and taking this down. So we have a negative number between 10 and 11 years. Now this should not surprise you, because discounted value means that each of those cash flows are less. It should make sense to you that a discounted payback method is going to be longer. But what might surprise you is that in the one with the non-discounted method, the payback method here, we would accept this because it's less than the 7.5 year threshold. But this one we would reject because it's longer than the 7.5 years. It's between 10 and 11 years. And again, it's the same process. You're finding out how much of that discounted cash flow provides per day, and then you're finding out, taking the negative amount and basically seeing how many days. So for the discounted payback, we're talking about 10 years and 168 days. So this is the two methods compared.